y'all, welcome to Anita's World, a safe space for everyone. Today I have my journals with me because we are going to be writing our New Year manifestations, aspirations, goals, resolutions, whatever you want to call them, however you want to define them. But I am going to be sharing those with you guys. We're going to do this together if you want to participate. I know some people kind of have mixed feelings around New Year's resolutions or, you know, making goals for the new year because they may feel like, you know, time is a social construct, or, you know, you don't need to wait until the new year to make goals, or, you know, whatever your ideologies are surrounding it. For me, I just see the new year as a new chapter of life, a new period of time for opportunities to blossom, for doors to open. And I don't think that new year goals or aspirations or manifestations, whatever you want to call them, I don't think that they need to be something grand or you need to make huge life decisions. It could just be something as simple as I want to finish a book, you know what I mean? Or I want to learn how to play an instrument, or, you know, like, it doesn't have to be anything major. It could be, I want to improve my skincare routine. I want to start prioritizing my self-care. It could be so many different things. Once you put something out into the universe and you are dedicated to that, I feel like just inevitably the universe orders your steps and puts you in the mindset of that person. So I'm gonna share mine with you guys, and then we're also going to reflect back on my 2023 manifestations. And I also wanted to share the fact that I am a journal junkie. I think I've mentioned this before, so I wanted to share some of my favorite journals. This is the journal that I wrote my 2023 manifestations in, and this journal, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was gifted to me. But I think it's so cute. It says it's going to be okay, and it has this embroidered design on it. So I really like it, and I finished this journal. I finished this journal in July of 2023, and then this is the journal that I started. Again, this is another journal that was gifted to me, and if I'm not mistaken, I think this was created by a Black woman, created and designed by a Black woman. It says Kinsey Studio Co, and this is from TJ Maxx, but it was a gift. So I'm always open to receiving journals as a gift because I have 15 journals that are filled up cover to cover. But some of my favorite journals over the years have been these 3 journals. This one, I finished this journal back when I was 14 or 15 years old. This journal is truly a reflection of my creativity and who I am at my core, and I love to go back and read it because I like to learn from my younger self. I expressed myself a lot more authentically before the world painted me, so to speak, and so I like to go back and learn from that version of myself. So this journal is very special to me, and I also just like the design of it. It has the globe on it, and then I like that it has this flap. I don't know, I love this journal and it's so precious to me. And then this one is from World of Journals, and I think I got this from, well, I know I got it because the sticker's still on it. I got this from Marshall's. Marshall's, TJ Maxx are some of the best places to get journals. Also Amazon as well. I finished this one in 2022. I like this one. I like that it has a little clip here, and sometimes I put things inside of my journals. I do a little bit of scrapbooking. If I traveled somewhere, I might put my boarding pass, or I might put like a ticket or something that symbolizes an event that I went to or an experience that I had that I don't want to forget, or I want to go back and just be like, oh my gosh, like I remember when I went to this place years ago. And then in this journal, I actually have my bucket list. I created like a bucket collage, and this was like back in 2013 and it's 2024, so this was almost 10 years ago. And I every now and then go back to this to see what I've completed and what I can check off of this. And it's funny because one of the things that I put on this bucket collage is going to be my goal or my manifestation for 2024. So it's funny to see that some things are still in alignment, some things are not. Like one of the things that I have on here is live in New York. I do not care to live in New York. That's not something that is in alignment with me anymore, but I definitely love to visit New York, so I feel like that's close enough. But yeah, it's just interesting to look back at my journals and see how much I've grown. And I think it's amazing to see how much I've grown, but also at the same time, I also learn a lot from the younger version of myself. Like I said, the younger version of myself was a lot more unapologetic. The younger version of myself was a lot more hopeful and creative and expressive. And so I feel like 2023 was almost kind of going back to that version of myself and returning back to her, because I know that I kind of suppressed her. I suppressed her, and I actually had, this might be TMI or it might sound crazy, but I had almost like a ceremony where I met my younger self. Like we met. I was meditating and we came face to face, and now I am kind of like building a relationship with my younger self, with my inner child. Navigating that's been interesting because a lot of the things that I've done in my life as an adult, as a young adult, has been to protect my inner child, to protect myself. And I didn't realize that in doing that, I was suppressing her, especially just being in survival mode. So learning how to come out of that. But that's not what this is about. We are going to write our 2024 manifestations. I'm gonna just take some time and write this. I did want to go to the park and like sit and walk through the park and kind of just allow my thoughts to run wild while I'm in nature, but it's raining right now, so it's actually really nice. I enjoy the rain, and I feel like it's very much of like a mood right now. So I'm just going to take some time and write down what I hope to accomplish in the new year. Also, I am rocking this almost 2-week-old silk press, and I've been wearing my hair in a claw clip, so I just have these like natural waves that are going in every which way. So ignore that. But I think I'm gonna sit on my balcony. My balcony is screened in, or my patio, whatever you want to call it, it's screened in. So I think I'm going to sit out there, enjoy the sound of the rain while I write, and then I'll share it with you guys, and we'll also reflect on last year's. So I moved over to my office because it's very gloomy and rainy today, and I have a huge window right here, so I'm like soaking in all this natural lighting. But I spent some time on my patio just sitting, writing about my manifestations for the new year, for 2024. And it's interesting because I feel like in the past I used to write kind of like a bullet list of each individual thing. Whereas this time I wrote it almost like a journal entry. I wrote it as if I am the person in 2024 living out the life that I want to create for myself in 2024. So I'm writing it as if it's happening already, as if it's unfolding before my eyes. That's a key aspect of manifestation, is putting yourself in the mindset of that person. So if there's an area of your life that you want to succeed in, or an area of your life that you want to see improvement in, instead of seeing yourself as like, okay, this is where I am today and this is where I want to be, it's almost kind of like being that person today. Even if you don't have that thing, even if you don't have that job that you want, even if you don't have the money in your bank account that you want, even if you don't have the partner that you want, or the house, whatever it is that you want, even if you don't have that today, putting yourself in the mindset of that person, I feel like is going to inevitably bring those things into your existence because you're living it. So that is kind of how I wrote my manifestations. I just put myself in the mindset of that person. What does that version of Anita look like? What does that version of Anita do on a day-to-day? What is that version of Anita journaling about? And that's the approach that I took, and it actually felt good because it made me feel like this is possible, this is attainable. If you continue to tell yourself that you can't do something because you're not smart enough, if you continue to tell yourself that you're not able to reach a certain point in your life or your career because of how you look, because of your identity, because of whatever, then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're going to continue to perpetuate that and close yourself off to the life that you want to create for yourself. But I feel like if you speak about these things as if they are happening, as if it's unfolding before you, then naturally you are just going to step into that. So like I said, that was the approach that I took, is just putting myself in the mindset of this version of myself that I want to be, and that, not that I want to be, but that I am. It's in me. I am this version. I wrote 3 pages worth of, I guess, of a journal entry, but I highlighted the specific parts that speak to what the goal is or what the manifestation is more specifically. And it's funny because the way that I started this journal entry is I put, whoa, 2024. I remember when everyone thought the world was going to end in 2012. Now look at us, almost 12 years later. And I think it's just so funny because we really thought the world was going to end in 2012. I don't know if anyone remembers that. And I'm sure there's been times even before 2012 that people anticipated that the end of times were near, the end of times are coming. And I feel like that kind of fear-mongering also translates into our everyday life when it comes to, you know, our age. We think, oh my God, my 20s are coming to an end. I have to do this, this, and this before my 20s are over. Or my biological clock is ticking. You know, like, there's this whole ideology that, like, you need to have kids by a certain age. You need to be settled down by a certain age. There is no time limit on being able to get to where you want to be in life. We are all on our own journey. It doesn't have to look like everyone else's. And it's interesting because I feel like some of the most, I keep playing with this marker, so if you guys hear like a clicking sound, that's why. But I feel like some of the most successful people that we know, they didn't get their break, or they didn't reach the point that they are until much later in life. I think in life you have to go through a lot of learning, growing, self-discovery, finding yourself, losing yourself, returning to yourself. Like, it's a whole journey. So to put this expectation on ourselves and think that we need to achieve something by a certain age is kind of ridiculous. And I don't think there's anything wrong with setting milestones for yourself, but I think it's important to dig deep into where are these milestones stemming from? Like, I don't think we're all meant to be doing the same things at the same time. and I'm still learning. Like, what do I know? I don't know shit. The more I learn, the more I realize that I don't know shit. And it reminds me of that Erykah Badu song, On and On. She says, I don't remember exactly how it goes, but she says, the man that knows something knows that he knows nothing at all. Something like that. And the way that I perceive that is, when you consume more knowledge, when you learn more, you realize that there's so much more to uncover. But anyway, let me get into what I wrote. So one of the things, I'm not gonna read everything. Like I said, I did 3 pages worth of just like writing. But one of the things I put is learning how to swim, because I feel like this is an important survival skill, and I look forward to overcoming that fear, trusting the water, and finding balance in my body to be able to swim and float. And I know that may sound silly, but I love water. I love being surrounded by water. I love going to the beach, especially natural bodies of water. I love going to the beach, the springs. As much as I love water, I also have a fear of it. The fact that it is our life source, but it also can take our life. And I have a fear with that. So I want to learn how to swim. I feel like, as someone who loves to travel around the world, I feel like that's an essential survival skill that I should know. Someone that inspired me is this content creator on YouTube. I don't remember her YouTube channel name, but I'll like put the video here somewhere or link it below. She's actually a female truck driver. She's the first female truck driver I've ever come across, and that's why I was so intrigued by her content. But she took a career break and she went to, I want to say she went to Bali or either Thailand, and she took swimming lessons, and she overcame like her fear of learning how to swim, especially as an adult. I was really inspired by that, and I've always wanted to learn how to swim. That is something that I look forward to. I don't need to be, you know, a Michael Phelps or anything. Another thing that I put was prioritizing my healing and finding a therapist to navigate my pain, trauma, my shadow self, that kind of stuff. I'm hoping that I can find a therapist. I don't have many limitations. I used to feel like I need a Black, queer therapist, and if I find that, that would be great, because then I wouldn't feel the need to filter myself at all, and I would feel like they would understand me. But at the end of the day, I feel like it really just comes down to a person's willingness to want to help and equip you with the skills to navigate your challenges in life. And that's what I want. They can be Black, they can be white, they can be whatever. I would prefer a person of color and someone who is at least a queer ally, but I'm not putting any limitations. Next thing I have is that I highlighted here is slow travel. I want to do more slow travel. I've traveled a lot in my life, but I feel like it's always been a temporary time. Like I don't think I've ever traveled somewhere for longer than like 7 to 10 days. So I want to spend more time slow traveling, because I feel like through slow travel, it's beneficial for not just me, but I also want to be able to dedicate at least a day of my slow travel experience to serving the community. So doing maybe volunteer service, participating in cultural exchanges, providing any type of service that I can without a price tag being associated with it. Not just traveling to these cool destinations to post about it on social media, but to also make an impact on the local economy. And when you travel to a different country, you are contributing to their economy. Tourism is a way of contributing, but I feel like nothing compares to being on the ground with the locals and doing the work with them. And so that is why I want to slow travel, so that I have more time to do those things, and also not be so like feeling like I'm rushed to do all these things in one place. Another thing I have is to improve my Spanish and become more fluent and less ashamed to speak it. I definitely want to just speak it more, even if I say things wrong, even if my accent sounds off. Like, I just want to put myself in situations where I have no choice but to speak it, because I feel like that is how I'm going to learn the most. I think Spanish is such a beautiful language. When I watch shows in Spanish or I listen to songs in Spanish, I'm like, English could never. English is my first language, so no shade, but like Spanish is such a beautiful, romantic, passionate language, and I have a deep appreciation for it, and I would love to be able to, well, I am going to be fluent in Spanish at some point. I really feel like it's important for me to learn Spanish to be able to communicate with different people from different walks of life, and I look forward to doing that more in 2024. I'm not gonna read everything that I have, but just some of the things that stand out. Showing up as my authentic self has been something I've definitely stepped more into that in 2023, but I want to be even more grounded in that in 2024. I just want to be me and be confident in that, and I feel like I kind of started to do that in 2023, so I just want to continue to extend that, be grounded in that, amplify that in 2024. I mean, the last one that I share is to stress less about money. That's something that I feel like I learned in 2023, so I just want to continue to extend that. I think I've mentioned this before, but like the way that I see it now, if I'm doing what I love for a living, if I'm living with intention and in alignment with my purpose, money is going to come as a byproduct, and God has always provided for me. There's never been a period in my life where I went without. Even times where I felt like, yo, I don't know how I'm gonna make this work, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, God came through somehow. Like there's moments where I'm like, it doesn't even make sense how that ended up working out, and the only thing that I could attribute it to is God. And so I just trust that. Okay, I don't know how this lighting situation is going to be. Daylight savings, I don't know what it is, but I feel like with daylight savings, it gets darker and darker, earlier and earlier every year. So hopefully this lighting situation is not that bad, but I still wanted to get through this video and not delay it any further, especially with the end of the year approaching so soon. So now I am going to reflect back on some of the things that I wrote down for 2023 for my manifestations. So I'm not gonna share everything. I feel like just some things are sacred and I don't need to share everything, but the reason that I want to share this with you guys, the reason I want to share my goals for the new year and reflect and all of that, is because I want this to be like a source of inspiration. I really enjoy watching videos like this, and I know sometimes it's hard to know what you want your goals to be. And so I just want this to be a source of inspiration, not saying you need to do what I'm doing, but you can kind of take what resonates and maybe it can spark something else. Maybe you're like, well, I don't want to learn this, but I want to learn that, or I don't want to do exactly this, but maybe it just triggers you to start thinking about things that you are genuinely interested in and that you want to manifest in the new year. So that's the reason why I'm sharing this. One of the things that I have here for my 2023 manifestations was to continue showing up authentically on YouTube and building a community of love. And I just want to say thank you so much to anyone who has ever watched my video, clicked on my video, left a positive comment, even people who I mean, I've for the most part only gotten positive comments, but there have been people that maybe had negative things to say, which was mainly on like my lock videos. So, you know, people have their views about locks and combing out your locks and what my journey was, and that's perfectly fine. I respect people's points of view, so I even appreciate that. I appreciate the dialogue that people had on that video, and just any of the videos I have where people have left really heartwarming comments. I appreciate it more than you know. There's been some comments where I'm like, wow, you really received me, and I appreciate everyone who has received me and has, you know, allowed me to take up space in their life for whatever length of time my video was that you watched. There are things that I don't know. There are things that I'm still trying to learn in terms of like editing videos and determining the type of content I want to create. And sometimes I post videos and I'm not really proud of them, but I know that I just need to continue to create and refine and, you know, find my voice in all of this. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Like, I could cry. And the other day I checked my subscriber count, which I try not to really get caught up on numbers. When I first started my YouTube channel, I was really caught up on that, but now I don't really care to be honest, because I'm not, like, I have a full-time job. YouTube is not something that I even have the capacity to commit all of my time and energy to create the best content that I would like to, but I do what I can. And I noticed that I have over 800 subscribers now on YouTube, and it's just crazy to think that I do have videos where they've gotten thousands of views, hundreds or thousands of views, and to think that that many people have watched me, or that many people have, you know, clicked the subscribe button and care about what I have to say. It just means so much. It means so much to be seen, to be received, to be held. And I just want to thank anyone who continues to watch my videos, continues to comment on my videos. You know who you are. I love you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So it's funny because my goals that I put for 2023 were not your typical goals. It was more so like what I'm welcoming. So I put 2023 is about welcoming what rises to the surface. Surrender and release expectations of yourselves and others. Dedicate 2023 to simply being. In the past, I used to write my goals and it would be like, save X amount of money by this time frame. Or I remember there was a time where I wanted to buy a condo or like buy a house, and I was 22 at the time, and there's nothing wrong with that if I chose to go down that path. It's just funny looking back how my goals were very materialistic, I feel like. And so my goals for 2023 and beyond are more about who I want to be as a person and how I want to approach life, versus having X amount of money or having this specific job title or having, you know, owning property. And those things, there's nothing wrong with those things at all, because I've manifested a lot of those things. You know, whenever I wanted to have X amount of money or have a certain job or work for a certain company, I've always been able to look back and be like, damn, like I did that. So I know that it's possible, but I feel like what I've learned through manifesting the material things is that there's so much more to life than those material things. Because I would get to that place, I would get that job or get that salary or get that, you know, luxury apartment or get whatever I was manifesting, I would get it and then feel like, okay, is this it? Like, or I would just feel like, okay, what's next? And it just put me in a place of not being content or not really understanding what is enough for me. And I feel like now I have a better idea of what really is important to me. And it's not, you know, my stability is very much important to me. So money is a factor in that. And there are material things that I appreciate and enjoy and make me feel good about the quality of life that I have. But those things are not determining factors of the joy and peace that I have in my life. And in many ways, it can come with a lot more problems. So I think that that's what I was getting at here when I said, for once, dedicate 2023 to simply being. So like dedicate a year to just be. Like you don't need to try and do all these crazy things and buy a house and do, you know, it's just like, just be and see what comes up, see what comes from that. And I feel like for the most part, I did do that. Another thing I had was to finish at least 2 books, which I definitely did. I think I finished 3 or 4 books in 2022. One of the things that I wrote is to determine an area of interest for my career where I can support myself and live in a healthy way. I did work with a career coach this year, and it's interesting because there was a period of time where I felt like it doesn't matter what job I have as long as I make enough money to support myself. That was the mindset that I had, and I never really put much thought into, is this something that I would be fulfilled by? Do I find value in this? Do I feel like I am providing value in a way that matters to me? I'm actually happy to say that through working with a career coach, I was able to get more clear on the direction that I want to take my career in and exploring that. And it does feel scary because I feel like I'm starting over in a sense, or that I will be starting over. I would rather take this leap of faith and, you know, have no regrets. So yeah, I'm glad that I was able to determine that, and I will likely be doing a video talking about my experience working with a career coach. Another thing that I wrote, and I think I shared this actually, it was more so what I welcome in 2023. So I put that I welcome gentleness, genuine love, which I feel I definitely received that from people that are close to me. I welcome softness. I welcome meaningful connections. I definitely experienced some amazing connections in 2023 that I'm grateful for. I also put that I welcome pure intentions, new experiences and adventures, opportunities to know myself deeper, freedom and an existence beyond my wildest dreams. And I feel that. I feel like that is something that is continuous. So I don't think it's like, oh, I reached freedom in 2023 and it's a destination and I'm here now and that's it. Like, I feel like this is something, these are things that are just continuous and ongoing, and I want to continue living my life in alignment with welcoming these things. If you know, wrote down your 2024 manifestations, or if you've reflected on this past year, I'm curious what you have learned from your experience in 2023, and maybe some of the things that you want to carry into 2024, or maybe things you want to release in 2024. Definitely leave a comment. I would love for this to be a discussion, and I thank you so much for being here.